What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another debate episode on EI Entertainment Studios. Today's debate video, we're going to be talking about Shin Biollante versus Legendary Biollante. If this is the first time you've ever clicked on this channel, or the first time you've ever watched a debate video on my channel, what I like to do here is I like to open a door that's never really opened before. And interestingly enough, this specific debate video is a bit different. What I usually like to do is get one original kaiju, for example we can say Godzilla, and make him fight against a fan-made kaiju, which for an example could be just Shin Biollante. And we're trying to open a door that's never been opened before to see if these fan-made kaijus were to be alive. How would they fight against other monsters? How would they look on the silver screen? And better yet, what would its backstory and characteristics be like? And in this case, we're doing two fan-made kaiju, so we're actually opening two doors this time. Interestingly enough, we're going to be talking about Shin Biollante and Legendary Biollante. So how is this going to go down? We're going to start with Shin Biollante first, go over the backstory, abilities, characteristics, all that good stuff. Same thing for Legendary Biollante after we finish Shin Biollante, and then we'll put these two monsters against each other to see if they were to battle, who would be the true king of the monsters. So starting off with Shin Biollante's backstory goes as follows. Shin Biollante came into existence when the coagulant that was sprayed into Shin Godzilla's mouth right before he froze, one of the small humanoids was able to fall off the tail before all of them froze. From a long fall, the humanoid was bleeding and looked for a place to rest, and happened to come across a field of roses, and thought that they could be food. Interestingly enough, the humanoid started eating all of the roses, and his DNA mixed with all of the roses he had devoured, including the blood he spilled on the ones he didn't eat. The roses came alive and decapitated the humanoid and formed into Shin Biollante by bursting out of his body. Pretty graphic, but that's pretty much what the backstory that I came up with, how Shin Biollante would form. Now the abilities, let's go over the abilities. The first one we have is the spiked atomic laser, and it is all over the body. So you know how Shin Godzilla, when he gets angry, he shoots out an atomic laser. When he shoots out an atomic laser, it could be from the mouth, from the back of the dorsal plates, or from the tail. Now this humanoid obviously takes in DNA from Shin Godzilla, so he's able to do stuff like this. Forming into Biollante, meaning she can actually be able to use these abilities to her advantage, having the DNA of Shin Godzilla. So, in a unisense, having the DNA of a rose and Shin Godzilla, this creature can shoot atomic lasers from all over her body, but the only difference is it's even stronger than just regular Shin Godzilla. It's because the atomic lasers now have really small and sharp spikes coming out of it. Just like a rose has spikes on it for protection, this specific atomic laser shoots spikes as well, including the atomic laser, really ripping into the flesh of its opponent. So that is one thing to be aware of. Next we have, now the next ability before I say it, we have taken into consideration that Shin Biollante is a mistake. Shin Godzilla itself is a mistake, is an abomination, is a deformed creature. And when a deformed creature mixed with a regular rose and mixed up, everything, literally the DNA literally got fucked up. And what happens now is this creature, known as Shin Biollante, will now have 10,000 tentacles. Tentacles, you see when I'm playing as Biollante right here, you see the hands that it has? Imagine 10,000 of those. 10,000 tentacles. And they all have ragged teeth ready to bite and rip into the opponent or the opponent's flesh, is what I mean. Next, we have the Tentacle Poison Laser. Now, even though I just said we have 10,000 tentacles with teeth, the tentacles, each 10,000 of them, have lasers shooting out. So if the body lasers were enough, the tentacles have lasers as well, which is incredible. Incredible for Shin Biollante. And I'll be expecting that, especially thinking out how overpowered Shin Godzilla is in general. Mixing it with a man-eating rose, that is definitely going to happen. Next, we have Regeneration. As we all know, Shin Godzilla's DNA is in the movie Shin Godzilla. He does regenerate quite quickly when he needs to. He has the ability to evolve and adapt his body to do that. So Shin Biollante will be able to regenerate. Even though Shin Godzilla's ability wasn't the best as he was adapting to the situation, he did have to sleep to regenerate. But if the movie went on longer, he would have definitely made a way that his body could regenerate very, very quickly, and therefore Shin Biollante will now have a regeneration that is fairly quick. And then we have the instant adaptation, as we all saw in the movie. He went from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4 fairly quickly. Form 2 to Form 3 was done in a matter of seconds. So that means that Shin Biollante can adapt/evolve to any given situation where she wants because of having the Shin DNA inside of her body. Next, we have the False Heart Trap. It's the final heart, it's the final ability for Shin Biollante. And now you see the big heart on Shin Biollante, or regular Biollante at the moment in the video game. This specific ability, so any monster looking at a weak point, they're going to try to attack it. And usually the regular Biollante dies from Godzilla because he bursts her heart and makes her bleed to death pretty much. And for Shin Biollante, this heart is actually a decoy. The heart is actually inside of the body, near the neck, inside of the neck, not even exposed. And what happens if the opponent attacks this heart, it blows up with a very burning type of acid that falls onto their face and just burns their flesh alive. And it keeps on reforming, so the trap continues. That's pretty much all the abilities for Shin Biollante. Also, Shin Biollante is going to be around 119 meters tall. Now we're going to talk about territorial levels. So, territorial level for Shin Biollante is going to be high, aggression will be low because of the DNA of Shin. Shin Godzilla was never aggressive, but when he is provoked, he will be the most deadliest creature on the planet of Earth. And that pretty much sums up Shin Biollante. Let's move on to Legendary Biollante's backstory now. Legendary Biollante came into existence thousands of years ago when Godzilla and King Ghidorah had just came across one another and became the ultimate rivals. Between the battles of Godzilla and Ghidorah, other monsters were caught in between sometimes, and the fighting, literally between the fighting. So imagine Godzilla and Ghidorah are fighting and other monsters are just falling in between, and they are becoming part of the fight, and they are gonna die because of that, obviously. So most of them were killed on a specific small rose that was between these two monsters fighting. What an interesting coincidence, huh? Year after year of new monsters dying and their blood soaking into the soil near that rose, it finally had gotten so much blood, meaning the rose, that the rose started to grow flesh and eventually transformed into Legendary Biollante. That's pretty fucking graphic, right? Now, abilities. Let's go over the abilities of Legendary Biollante. First off, we have the Poison Acid Breath. This is more, as I said, Legendary is more realistic rather than the Shin universe, so I'm going to go based off of that. So, Legendary Biollante has a poison acid breath. So it's not like an atomic breath where Shin Biollante has, but it's definitely quite as deadly. The poison acid breath, pretty much imagine it's like a mist, but it's formed like an atomic breath. It comes straight to you. It's a mist, and it just burns flesh. It's similar to what Shin Biollante had with the fake heart, but it's a little bit stronger, and it comes from the mouth. Now, going from that, next we have the blinding mist. Now, Legendary Biollante can shoot a mist from her body where it's just so dense and just focuses on the eye that it's just meant to blind their opponent for about 5 minutes, which is quite enough to kill her opponents very, very easily. Next we have the Earthquake Initiation. This is another unique ability that Shin Biollante never had. Now, even though Legendary Biollante will not have as many tentacles as Shin Biollante has, because she is more normal compared to how deformed Shin Biollante is, her hands, even though are less, are much stronger. So there's a catch to it, right? When she can rip her hands into earth and shake up the crust and make a big earthquake for about 40 miles. So it's gonna definitely cause an impact on her opponent. But it can also cause an impact on her, as she will be part of the shaking as well. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation, but if she is about to die or something like that, she's losing, or she just wants to intimidate her opponent, she can easily initiate that by sticking her hand or breaking her hand into the core of the earth. It's that long, and she can just shake earth as fast as she can, or as hard as she can. And the final one is the Body Split Crush. This is a very interesting one. Her body can actually split in two, go between the opponent, and reform on the opponent, crushing them to death, and then reopening again and then forming back. That is creepy and beautiful. Yes. Territorial level is maximum, aggression level is maximum, and the biome is forest. Now, and I can't remember if I went over the biome of Shin Biollante, but it would be unlimited biome because of the super adaptation that she has. Okay, now that we have these two monsters together, ready to battle, we've talked about both of them. Let's get these monsters to fucking killing each other. So let's do it. Shin Biollante versus Legendary Biollante. Who's gonna win? So this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna go best out of 2. If we need to go to overtime, we'll do it. But for now, we're gonna go best out of 2. So how are we gonna do that? I'm just gonna keep on playing as Biollante because it's the theme of this video. So the best out of 2 is we're gonna go over a close range battle and a far range battle. Now obviously a far range battle is less practical. Usually monsters will want to come face to face and just kill each other like that. So therefore we're gonna do far range first and then close range. If need be, I'm not gonna explain it yet because we don't need to yet, but if we need be, we'll go to overtime, and if that's the case, I will explain overtime to each and in this video. Now, let's begin with far range. Now, in terms of this video, we'll limit these monsters into a range of 700 meters, cannot get closer than 700 meters. That is in terms of far range, so it's a limited ability use. We're going to see who would win. So let's see what abilities Shin Biollante first can or cannot use against Legendary Biollante in terms of far range. So let's look. Spiked Atomic Laser. Atomic Laser is meant to go far. That is fine. 10,000 Tentacles. Now, the Tentacles, she can't use them to bite into the flesh of Legendary Biollante, but she can actually use the Tentacle Poison Laser to use. That is fine, but not the tentacles itself, but the laser, the poison laser coming out of the tentacles is perfectly fine. The Regeneration, fine. You don't need distance for that. The instant adaptation is fine, and the false heart trap is not fine. It's not gonna go as far. So that's, even if she does it, even if it initiates, it's not gonna work. So the only thing she can use is the spiked atomic laser, tentacle poison laser, regeneration, instant adaptation. For Legendary Biollante, what she can use is poison acid breath, yes. Blinding mist, yes. Earthquake initiation, yes. And the only thing that she cannot use is the body split crush. So actually Legendary Biollante has more abilities to her exposal. So let's begin. Going into far range, I see Legendary Biollante being a little bit more on the feisty side. As we know, her aggression is maximum compared to Shin Biollante. I feel like she'll be the first one to initiate the battle, showing her dominance by breaking into the ground of Earth and causing a massive earthquake, killing everyone and causing Shin Biollante to fall on her ass. And that's only going to intimidate Shin Biollante. It's two things going to happen. Shin Biollante is known, or Shin Godzilla in general, is known to not have any emotions. So is she really going to get scared? Do Rose have emotions? Who knows? And I'm going to assume no. So she's not going to give a shit about this. And she's going to get up. And Shin Biollante is easily going to use, I think the first thing she's going to use is the spiked atomic laser. An atomic laser with a lot of spikes forcing onto the body of Legendary Biollante, ripping into the flesh of Legendary Biollante. Is it gonna kill her? No. Is it gonna damage her? Yes. Is it gonna piss her off? Definitely. Once Shin Biollante does that, I see Legendary Biollante using the blinding mist to make Shin Biollante a little bit confused of where am I? What's happening? As soon as she does that, she can quickly use an earthquake initiation to stir up the ground, make Shin Biollante fall, and then use the poison acid breath to possibly finish off Shin Biollante. But uh-oh, we ran into a problem. When she tries to finish off Shin Biollante, she's gonna need a few hits of that poison acid breath, right? A few hits. But what does Shin Biollante have that can help her in this situation? That is we could even say the regeneration, but more importantly, the instant adaptation. Her body senses danger and quickly adapts into a way to fit that danger, to be able to not be affected by that danger. And as soon as Legendary Biollante starts damaging her body, boom, inside of Shin Biollante's body is a new DNA mix, forming into a whole new instant regeneration, instant adaptation, changing her body so she can actually use that poison breath to her advantage, using a spiked atomic laser mixed with a tentacle poison laser. I see Shin Biollante winning the far range battle 1-0. Interesting, right? Now that I have 1-0, let's go to close range. All out, no limits, just kill each other to the death. Shin Biollante and Legendary Biollante. So I again see Legendary Biollante starting off the fight really quickly, as she is more aggressive than Shin Biollante. But note that if Shin Biollante gets aggravated, she can be a little bit more deadlier. Now, going into this, I see the first thing Legendary Biollante doing is trying to lure Shin Biollante to just coming closer to her, as close as she can, to just split her body in half and just quickly form on Shin Biollante and start crushing her as hard as she can. And that's definitely gonna pop an eye or two, and it's gonna make Shin Biollante start bleeding out of her mouth, out of her body, just kind of destroying her. And then quickly, Shin Biollante can quickly turn, her 10,000 tentacles to Legendary Biollante and just open up 10,000 fucking lasers and just blow her up. But what happens, it's fine, because as long as she's split, she can't die because she has, the heart is split. So if one heart dies, the other heart lives, they form both of the two hearts form again. So let's say she blows up one side, Shin Biollante blows up one side after the crushing is, in the time of the crushing, she falls down, she reforms, she is fine. And then Shin Biollante, or actually no, I would say Earth Biollante, that could be in the next video. Legendary Biollante uses the Earthquake initiation, but I can see now that Shin Biollante is more prone and more close to Legendary Biollante, knows what she's about, she can use an instant adaptation where her roots close really closely to Earth and can't move. And I said, remember what I said is that the Earthquake is a lose-lose situation. So if that happens, Legendary Biollante can fall down, Shin Biollante can come on top of Legendary Biollante, eat her heart out, use the spiked atomic laser into her mouth, blow her mouth up, and then use on the sides the tentacle poison laser and totally destroy her. And I think this is my outcome, 2-0 in favor of Shin Biollante. This is just my opinion. You can argue with it in the comment section below. But without further ado, this is the outcome. If you want your own, we could talk. You know, I like to do fan requests as well for debate videos. So you have an interesting monster, an idea for me to use in a debate video, go ahead and comment it. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful day.